And just like that, every weekend, Kabale residents tuned into Voice of Kigezi, treated to a news bulletin delivered by an 80-year-old veteran journalist. He is the media consultant and trainer at Voice of Kigezi, where he also reads English news at the weekend.
Romania's Constitutional Court has scrapped the recent presidential election and ordered its rerun following allegations and evidence of possible Russian interference and other news.
But how did this journey start? Born in 1944, Tindyebwa completed his primary education before he joined Busoga College Mwiri under the King George Scholarship until he completed his A-level. He then started out as a licensed teacher at Kebisoni Integrated Primary School in Rukunjeri district. However, over time, Tindyebwa's admiration of radio news readers got the better of him.
I chose to join journalism at the expense of teaching as a licensed teacher because I used to admire prominent journalists whom I used to hear reading news on BBC, Voice of Germany, and I felt like I wish I could be like them and be able to communicate, to communicate to the public.
He studied for his first diploma in journalism at the Kampala Institute of Public Administration, now known as the Uganda Management Institute.
The very first highlight in my journey of journalism, broadcast journalism, was the initial training of 2 months I had when I joined Radio Uganda on 2nd October 1967. It was being conducted by a very trained, well-versed journalist called Ben Kanyanji, who had spent 2 years training. Who had spent 2 years as a broadcast journalist with BBC African Service. And that maiden training actually opened my eyes and broadened my love.
Later, he would also secure a second diploma in journalism from New Delhi in India. On October 2nd, 1967, he joined Radio Uganda as a program assistant and later an English newsreader on Radio Uganda and Uganda Television.
I responded to an advert in the then Uganda Argus inviting people to come and sit for interviews to join Radio Uganda.
During this time, his reach went far and wide. One of those who remembers Tindyebwa in heyday at Radio Uganda is the Electoral Commission spokesperson Julius Muchunguzi.
The first time I heard his voice clearly was when the former president Milton Obote came to Kabale. That must have been in 1984 or 5, I think 5. So all of us school children, I going to Nyabirema Primary School, we went to the main road to wait for the president and wave at him. And as we waited by the roadside at the Buchinda Market, an OB van, and that was the first time I heard about a word called OB, outside broadcasting van, passed, and the voice coming from the van with the loudspeaker was saying, "My name is Justus Tindyebwa," of course in Ruchiga, and Justus Tindyebwa, there is a president, we are waiting for the president. Please, when he comes, you clap and wave.
At the age of 50 years, as he approached formal retirement, Justus Tindyebwa ended his tenure at Radio Uganda and Uganda Television in 1994. He was first posted to Mbarara as the Ankole District Information Officer. He later transferred to Kabale as the District Information Officer before being elevated to the position of Regional Information Officer for Ankole and Kigezi regions. It was at this time that Muchunguzi first met Tindyebwa in person. Of that meeting, Muchunguzi says he owes a substantial portion of his journalism career to the mentorship that he obtained from Tindyebwa.
He asked for the office of the District Information Office. When I entered, there he was, Justus Tindyebwa. He says, "What brings you here? Where do you come from? I explained and I said, I'm a student at the university. I have a story. I want to fax it, but I don't have the money. He looked at my story and said, oh, you actually write well. You actually write well, so I will fax it for you. And he took it inside and faxed it for me at no cost. And he said, you write well, so if next time you have stories, you can always bring them here. So he availed his office and availed the technology that was at the time. And by just that gesture of goodwill, he opened me up to many opportunities to get my stories to the Monitor newspaper at no cost, offsetting what would have been a big cost for me.
Finally, at the age of 60 years, Tindyebwa formally retired from public service in 2004. However, 2 years before this, he secured the position of Chief News Editor and Station Manager at the newly formed Voice of Kigezi FM radio station in Kabale Town.
Justus Tindyebwa is a straight person, as in very articulate. He really explains how he wants things to be done, and he understands journalism very well. So he's very easy to work with, and he's been helping us in guiding journalists and ourselves in handling matters of journalism.
His general manager, Andrew Agaba, is proud of Tindyebwa's contribution at Voice of Kigezi. The veteran journalist is very giving and an inspiration to many who work there. We asked his bosses how Tindyebwa is able to cope with computer technology at his grand age of 80 years.
Justus Tindyebwa has never missed any bulletin. He actually emphasizes appearing 30 minutes before time to go through his bulletins. And interestingly, he's caught up very fast with the current trends in journalism. Like as I speak for today, we managed to do some story ideas using Gemini, the AI tool. So he's already engaging in AI and is very conversant with how AI works.
Because he lives and walks and talks and breathes and coughs journalism and storytelling. He shows that you can retire, but definitely not tire. He's retired, but clearly he's not tired.
His position as Chief News Editor came with reading English news bulletins. Tindyebwa would continue in this position until 2013, when his workload was reduced. He is now a media consultant and trainer at Voice of Kigezi, where he also reads English news at the weekend. For now, Tindyebwa continues on his task, working diligently from his home in Makanga in Kabale Town to the studios of Voice of Kigezi to read the day's news. He has been at task for over 50 years and is on time every time. He hopes to stay on task for now.